I think we've all set out with these great big lofty goals like save $1 million or pay off your debt or buy a Tesla. But here's the problem. You see that goal out there in the distance and you fixate on it and you work really hard to get there. And the problem is life changes and you change. And by the time you get there, you might find that thing that you thought you wanted isn't actually what you want. Or maybe you just don't even want to be the same person you are today. So here's why you should end have a static savings goal and instead should have a dynamic savings goal. Hi, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm a qualified accountant and here we talk about all things personal finance, self-development and business. So, let's get into this savings goal thing. So, when I was younger, I remember so clearly sitting down at my desk and writing down this massive list of goals that I wanted to achieve, and I remember them being very, very static goals. So I remember one of them was save $100,000 and then another one was buy a Tesla Model S. Now I remember working towards those goals and checking them off. When I achieved them, I remember how awesome it felt and celebrating them and feeling like, yes, I have achieved something. But now having worked towards those goals, they no longer motivate me and they're no longer the same goals that I would set today. So I want to tell you 3 reasons why you should have a static savings goal and instead should have a dynamic savings goal. And the first reason is that your financial objectives will change over time. So, when I was younger, I had this massive drive for material possessions. So I wanted a fast car, I wanted a nice house. These were symbols of success to me. And I also didn't have anyone depending on me. So I could spend money pretty freely. I could take risks with my spending because if it didn't work out, well, it didn't really matter because no one else was affected apart from myself. But now my financial objectives have completely changed because my circumstances have changed. I have people that depend on me. I have a young family. I have responsibilities. And so now my objectives have shifted more towards security. So, it's not about buying a flash car or a flash house. It's about saving for my kids' education. It's about saving for retirement. It's about making sure that if anything happened to me, my family would be okay. And so if I was still clinging onto that old goal of buying a Tesla or buying a particular house or whatever it is, then it's not going to motivate me now because my objective has changed. So firstly, your financial objectives will change over time and you need to make sure that you keeping up with them. The second reason why you shouldn't have static goals is because you will change as a person. So, when I was younger, I used to work really, really hard in my day job and then come home and work on my side hustle. And I did this almost every single day for many, many years, and I thought this is just who I am. This is who I need to be to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. But now having gone through various different self-development programs, I've realized that I don't need to be this person. I can be someone that enjoys their life more, that spends more time with family and friends and still achieves the same goals. And so if I was still holding onto the old version of myself, the person that works non-stop, then I would be able to change and grow and become the person that I am becoming now. And so, you need to remember that you will change as a person and you need to change and grow if you want to live a happy life. And if you're holding on to old goals, it doesn't allow you to do that. And the third reason is that the things that you want in your life will change. So, for example, before I traveled around the world, I thought I wanted to buy a house in London. I thought that was the ultimate goal. That was the ultimate symbol of success. And so I started working towards that goal. I started saving for that goal. But when I came back from my travels, I met my wife, we had kids, and I realized that actually buying a house in London is not what I want at all. I don't want the rat race. I don't want all the stress that comes with living in London. I'd much rather live in a slower paced city, and so my wants have completely changed. And if I was still holding onto that old goal of buying a house in London, then I wouldn't be able to pivot and change and do what is right for me now. So here's what you need to do instead. If you want to set goals that are meaningful to you and that will help you to get to where you want to be in life, then you need to have dynamic goals and you need to keep checking them regularly. And so what I recommend doing is setting a long-term goal, but setting short-term goals that feed into that long-term goal. So, for example, your long-term goal might be retire early. Now retiring early is a great goal. It's a good goal to aim for, but it's a little bit nebulous. It's quite hard to know exactly what you need to do to get there. So, what you want to do instead is break it down into smaller goals that you can achieve regularly. So, for example, one of the goals that feeds into retiring early is saving a certain amount each month. Now, saving a certain amount each month is a lot easier for you to do, and it's a lot easier for you to track progress towards that goal. And so what you want to do is figure out how much you need to save each month to get to your long-term goal. And this will depend on a number of factors. It will depend on when you want to retire, what age you are now, what investments you're making, whether you're investing in stocks or in property. There are lots of variables that go into it, but you can easily Google a retirement calculator and figure out how much you need to save each month to get to your goal. And then once you've got that goal, you can set shorter-term goals that feed into that. So, it might be that you want to save $2,000 a month, and so then you might say, okay, well, I'm going to try and save $500 this week. I'm going to try and save $2,000 this month. And then at the end of each month, you can sit down and review your finances, see whether you achieved your goal, see how close you got to it, and adjust accordingly. So, for example, if you were saving $2,000 a month and you only managed to save $1,800, you can ask yourself, okay, well, why didn't I manage to save $2,000? Was it because I went out for dinner too much? Was it because I wasn't tracking my expenses? Was it because I wasn't diligent with my budgeting? And then you can adjust and improve next month. So, if you read someone that finds that you always have these lofty goals that you never seem to achieve, then maybe it's time to change your mindset from having static goals to dynamic goals. And also remember to use the SMART acronym when you're setting goals. So, you need to make sure that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If you want to learn more about goal setting, then I've linked up a video here where I talk about exactly that. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend and subscribe to the channel. I post weekly videos on personal finance, self-development, and business. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.